going to be an opportunity for you to learn about them and maybe learn it in a different manner than what you've known before. It's not necessarily that magazine, glue stick, scissors, and a board where you just throw pictures on there and you say, Amazon Prime, give me what I asked for, right? We got to do a little bit of work, and we got to, be a little bit inspired, and we got to take action. And so I just want to be able to offer that for you in today's lessons. And then next week, we're going to talk about activating the magic within your vision board, because there really is, and over my own experience and talking with others, there is something to it when you learn how to really activate the magic in it so that you can start getting things quicker and faster into your life. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull up my screen here, put together presentation for you, because we like to have visuals sometimes. Let me go here. I was not on the right slide, was I? And then the thing about being the host is you get to move all the things around that get in your way, because inevitably it's going to be in the way. So be patient with me there when I do that. Okay, so here we go. Everybody can see the screen. Can I get a thumbs up? Okay, I see somebody nodding their head. Perfect. All right, and I'll keep the waiting room open so I can remember to move along with that as well. All right, so when we talk about virtual vision board workshop to learn the basics, the first thing is to know that it's a powerful tool about manifesting your life's dreams or desires. And when we talk about manifesting, it's being able to really bring your mind's ideas, thoughts, and visions into your reality. So that's manifestation. You do it all the time, and you've done it since you arrived on the planet, basically. There are things that we know that we desire, that we want, that we intend for ourselves. And the more we can visualize it and see it, the sooner it comes to us. Whether it was you wanted a bicycle, whether you wanted your driver's license, marry your high school sweetheart, have a beautiful wedding, all those kind of things started with a thought. And from that thought, you were able to create your reality. Sometimes it's not as we plan. It can be better, or it cannot be quite as good as we had hoped. But we managed to reset it and manifest again. So what I wanted to do when I offered this a few weeks ago was to help people see their dreams, that they're not on hold during this pandemic, that you're able to create your life beyond any circumstance and situation, but it takes you engaging into being able to see clearly what it is that you truly desire. So who am I? So Melissa Kirkpatrick, I am a transformational business and life coach. I've been on the journey, I've been on my training ground, I've done the work, and every decade I have up-leveled. And from that experience, it all came from my ability to be able to see the vision and create and take action moving forward. So when you can live your life by design versus being on autopilot, it certainly gives you the edge, and you start discovering more of the things that you want and how quickly you can bring them into your life. This is just a snapshot of who I am. The little 10-year-old down there in her pink shorts and tank top was the entrepreneur before she knew she was an entrepreneur, and that came from selling stationery up and down the road because I wanted to get my stationery gift wrapped in note cards for free. It was the Current magazine for any of those that remember that. But then I, moved into this capacity of owning and operating 2 golf courses. I was a high school IT teacher. I traveled. I do presentations. I was in a couple of books with a chapter I'd written. I wrote my own book. So all of that had happened and built upon itself because I had a clear desire and direction of what I wanted to do and receive. But I also was able to manifest even more because I was able to see that I wanted more. Like I just didn't stay stuck and stalled where I was, or not think that I could not improve my current situation. So when we're going to talk about today is why we're in this workshop, the purpose of the workshop, what does it mean to manifest? I kind of already covered that. There are different types of vision boards, and then how do you create an effective vision board? And then we will have a Q&A at the end. So you will have some time to get your thoughts down about your vision board. You won't actually develop it fully in our conversation today, but you'll at least be able to get some things recorded so you'll know what to do beyond this. And then from there, you'll be able to prepare for next week's class when we start talking about how do we activate the magic. The other cool thing is you get an opportunity to really look at different ways of creating this vision board that works for you. And I think sometimes that's where we kind of miss the mark. So when we start moving forward, so we're going to start taking action. You showed up today. Congratulations. Awesome being present for yourself, being here to learn about new ways to living your life and being able to create your life by design. So we want to create a legendary vision board, right? We want a vision board that just lights us up, one that just makes you just want to have purpose. You want to get out of bed in the morning. You want to go to bed at night falling asleep thinking about your dreams, and the next morning get up early so you can really start engaging and activating in them. That's what a legendary vision board is for you. That's what we want to call in. It should give you such a deeper connection to, it's not just to be skinny in a bikini, right? It's more than that. It's more than just that feeling. It's about how you walk across a room, how you enter a room, how you leave a room, how you feel when you go to bed at night and get up in the morning. It's about your health internally that you can't see. Just because you're skinny and in a bikini on the outside doesn't mean things are good on the inside. It's just all of that comes together. And that's what I want to teach you in this, is how we can engage that as well as the image. So for me, just to give you a glimpse, when I decided about a year ago, after leaving the golf course business, we sold both of our golf courses. In 2019, I made the decision that I was going to fully go into coaching. I actually had coached women on the golf course. That's where Find Your Own Drive actually started. And that developed because of owning and operating the golf courses. I knew I was a teacher by trade, because prior to that, I was a high school IT teacher, that I wanted to be able to create something on the golf course around teaching. So I taught myself how to play golf, and then I taught other women about the game, and I taught them how to play golf. And so from that piece, I was doing my passion and purpose, teaching other people to live a better life, to have opportunities and experiences just like I had. So when we got rid of the golf courses and I went into working for companies, I recognized that I am not someone that can work for someone else. I definitely need to be my own entrepreneur, my own businesswoman. And so I put it into motion that I really want to be back on that stage. The golf course was my stage, but I wanted to be back in front of people so that I could share my message and my experience and help them maybe, come unstuck and start living in a way that's unstoppable and really expand on their dreams and desires. So all I did was these two images. I knew a microphone was in place, and I also knew there would be people within the audience. And so what I did then is, from just those two images, I knew what that felt like, because when I became a high school teacher in my 30s, I went back to school when I turned 30 to get my teaching degree while working full time and raising my boys and taking care of our home and finances. What I had done there is I was actually working in the school as a teacher. I had taught adult ed classes, and I knew I wanted to have my credentials to be able to teach at the high school level. So what I did then was visualize being able to be in front of the classroom. So this was the same thing. I could take that energy of what it felt like to be a high school teacher, what it felt like to be a coach on the golf course, and now how can I share my message with the masses? And what happened just from putting all that energy into that was these opportunities. I mean, this is a very small portion of where I was and what I was doing in 2019. I was visibility 100% because that was the intention. I got out, I networked, I saw people, I reached out to people that I hadn't spoken to in a while and said, hey, this is what I want to do. If you have any connections or know anybody, hook me up with them. I want to know them. And so, like I said, this is just a piece of it. But, speaking at the State House, at the success, the Business Success Award ceremony, being able to help Josh Reed open up Studio Cincy over in Eastgate, which is a creative workspace, being able to stand on stage at other different events, running Evolve Women's Networking for over a year, 2 locations as their team lead and director for the area. And then just other opportunities that just show up out of the blue because I'm asking for this or something better. And that's what happens. So that's a little taste of how you're going to start creating your life by design. Okay, I know I talk fast because I get so excited if you can't tell. So 2 things, or one thing I want to start with is about goals and intentions. A lot of us are familiar with goals. It's something that you've learned to set way back when you were young. The goal was to get straight A's or B's, or hope you got a C and just really didn't want to get D's or F's. The goal was to get your driver's license when you turned 16 by following these steps in order to get there. So the goal was measurable. There's always a measurable goal. You want to lose weight. There's a number on the scale. There's a number on your waistline. There's those kind of things. So those goals we get, right? We all know how to do that, and we do it well, and we do it all the time. When you're creating your vision board, the ideal behind this now is an intention. It's a bigger way of setting something in motion. You are actually now calling something forth, and you intend to aim for it and plan for it. I know they both sound like they're the same thing, but really when you say, I have a goal, you immediately go through that experience that you had with goals. I failed, I didn't meet the mark, I'm no good. But when you say, I have an intention, the intention kind of gives you reprieve around having to really kind of follow through with it, right? Like the intent, well, it was just an intention. It wasn't like my goal. And to me, that was like magic, because I'm like, oh yeah, I'm going to set an intention, and that intention can change whenever I intend for it to change. Or I can set a goal and some strict guidelines. See the difference? Feels better to be an intention. Give me a 1 in the chat box if you think intentions right are number 1, right? Intentions versus goal. If you want to put a 1 in the chat box, that would be great. So as we set these intentions, we have to start thinking about, okay, so if I'm going to set intentions, then what is the purpose of this vision board? How does it serve me? Well, how you do one thing is how you do all things. And what I believe to be true is, when we learn how to master one thing, we can actually take those skill sets and move them into another thing. And we'll talk about those areas here in just a minute. But I want to just capture the purpose of the vision board is for you to use images and words that will spark and motivate you, but also remind you of your values, goals, and your dreams, AKA intentions, right? That's what these images will do. When you remind yourself to stay focused, then that's what you will accomplish. Because we know that when we're focused on exercise and moving and getting off the couch, we are reminded to stay focused. Maybe you have a dog that reminds you it's time to walk. Maybe you have a lunch partner that says, let's go out for a walk. Maybe you did get a membership to the gym. Those are those reminders to stay focused. If you don't have those, then sometimes we just realize a week or two goes by and we haven't done anything. And that's not what I want you to do. I want you to engage in your life through the vision board process. And then what happens is you create in your mind what becomes your reality. So there's stories that go back about people that thought about working out, but they weren't motivated or driven to do that. So what they did is they just set their work clothes out, and the next morning they would see their work clothes, and then the next morning they'd see them again. And then they had to just visualize in their mind, I'm working out, I'm getting fit, I'm going to put those workout clothes on and do the work anyway. And so it starts creating this, like, it feels real, because the mind doesn't know the difference between imagination or reality. How many of you have created stories in your mind about something 101 different ways, knowing the worst thing's going to happen or the best thing's going to happen? And usually none of that is how it turns out anyways, right? You've created a story and it doesn't work out any way that you thought it would. But now you are aware of it, so you can consciously develop and build your awareness so that it does come into your reality as you desire it. So why create a vision board? This is just kind of a recap of what I was just saying. You're going to identify your intentions and give it life. So again, intentions are the same as a goal. So we're going to give it life. The other thing is it's going to reinforce your daily affirmations. If you're someone that uses affirmations, put a 1 in the chat box. Affirmations, put a 1 in the chat box. Affirmations are statements that you make, usually starting with I am, and not using the words would, could, or should, right? Because if you start doing those things, we already have a negative energy amongst us. For instance, and I'll share this with you, is anytime you say, I want to get out of debt, what does the universe hear? It hears the word debt. And so to create wanting to get out of debt is financial freedom. So it's just a play on words, but the affirmation is, I am financially free, versus I am in debt, wanting to release the debt. So those are affirmations. There are some great tools out there. I use a lot of them. Louise Hay has a lot of things that I use of hers because I was introduced to her years ago. But you can even Google anything around affirmations and intentions and things like that. And then the third thing about the vision board is keeping your attention focused on your future. Because again, we get derailed, we get around negative energy, could be people, could be the news, could be the current world state situation. But that's okay, because that's life outside of us. when we're creating within us, then that's where we're creating our attention to stay focused on our future. And that's the light, right? That's what we're breathing hope into. That's what we're seeing beyond these current stories, circumstances, and situation, is being able to focus our attention. And that's why I thought, it's not January when most people do these, or the end of the year. This is a perfect time. And really, vision boards can be created every month if you desire. That'll be in part 2 of our workshop when we talk about that next week. So here's the thing. When you bring your desires into your reality, meaning your thoughts becomes things. I love this quote over here from Henry Ford that says, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. And that's where it starts. You have to have that I can attitude and really believe no matter what, circumstances will be in your favor or something better. But you also have the right to, as we've been saying lately, pivot or reframe so that we can actually adjust according to what's going on in the circumstances that we're in. So remember that. Whew. Okay, here we go. So if there's any questions that are coming up, I will try to answer the chat box while we're live, but we'll save them. If we can save them for the end, that might be more efficient. And I have blocked out time for us to have a Q&A. Last time I ran this workshop, it went really well for people to get your questions. So either jot them down or put them in the chat box, and I'll get to those at the end. So remember earlier when I said there are areas in our life, how you do one thing, how you do all things. So there's different areas of our life that we want to maybe put more attention to. And so what I've done is I've broken it down so that you can look at these different areas. And I know there's quite a few here because for some people, some things will resonate more than the other. You might have just thought it was work, your family, yourself, and your home. That might be 4 categories that you look at, but I just want to expand the mind a little bit to just offer you some other things like your financial and legal situation, your health and fitness go together, your friends and family, your personal growth, your learning, your leisure, your fun. All of these things are areas of your life that can be driven by a vision board if you would choose to do that. So what I'm going to ask you in today's conversation is think about an area that you really want to get zeroed in on, like you really want to make a change or a difference. Because right now, maybe it feels okay, but you could do better. Or maybe it's just flat out not good at all and you want to improve it. It could be a relationship, it could be your current job, it could be your partner, it could be, anything. But there's something I feel like everybody knows right away. For me, it's reclaiming my health because I've let it really go. That's the thing with not only COVID, what do they call it, COVID-15, like freshman 15, but being an entrepreneur, you tend to forget to take care of yourself because you're taking care of everything else. And so that's where I'm recognizing, okay, let's lean into that a little bit more for myself. But to help you further, and you might want to jot this down on a paper, these 9 areas might be probably a way to scale down what it is that you want to work on now. So when I look at my wealth, reputation, I copied this from another person who had created this. Reputation could be like your character or your values, your spiritual, your relationships, your health, your love, your career and education, your hobbies, travel, and fulfillment. So in addition to my health, I'm also, excited when things can open up and we can start traveling again, because I really have a large bucket list of what I want to do traveling. But for now, since that's not an option to work on, I'm going to look at my health. So what we're doing now is we're going to set an intention to do what it is that you want to set. Now, you can do this in each category, and then each category would have one picture that would reference each one of those areas. That could be a vision board in itself. So if I do wealth, I might have a picture of just money in general. If I want to do relationship, I might have a couple holding each other, hugging each other, or kissing each other. If it's career education, I might have an image of a graduate with a cap and gown, or I might have a picture of me behind a big desk. So when you can do one image and one word like that, that can be a vision board in itself. But that's not the vision board we're going to create, because we've got some other opportunities to make it bigger and better. But for now, you're thinking of one of these areas that you really want to get more clarity around. So for instance, here's the different styles. Now that we have a topic or an area in our life and we know what we want to create for it, we get to decide what it's going to look like. And whether you do a Pinterest board or you do a cork board with cutout pictures from the magazine, or you do something on your phone, it's up to you. You get to decide what that looks like. For the purposes of this, I'm going to help you see different ways that you can look at this. I got this fun little tool. Let me go back to this. I'm going to show you my phone. I learned this in Zoom, which is really cool. Oh, there's a plugin required. Tag on it. That is not what I wanted to have happen. Bear with me. Bear with me. Ah, yes. Okay. So there's my phone up on here, and I just want to show you these Pinterest boards because this is what I started to use for myself, which became easier than trying to do, changing my board all the time. So for instance, let's go to, I created one called Thinspiration, as in being thin. I've just collected some images like the food, like I want to eat food that's like hearty. I don't want to eat like necessarily shakes and vegetables all the time. I want something hearty. So this was ways that I know I could be more successful by using these images for my vision board. And then I have a couple of quotes on here, that will help me also inspire me when I read those in the morning and before I go to bed. Then if you look at, for instance, like I have one on haircuts, right? Like maybe I just want to keep these in there because I want to be inspired by color and cut. So there's no limitations on what you can create in Pinterest with your boards. The landscaping for me was something, this just puts me in a space of feeling really good. So those are just kind of feel good. But the one thing that I did find that I didn't know is what's called a mood board, and being able to find things based on your colors that you like. Obviously purple and orange are mine. I have purple rimmed glasses, orange wall. But it was like when I go through this, whether it's in the morning or before I go to bed, it allows me to offset anything that might be distorting me from thinking I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy enough, I can't create my life by design, who do I think I am? Like these are the things that I go to lift my spirit, to bring me back to center, and to allow me to ground in the space that I know that out of this situation only good will come, and I create my life by design. So those are just a few of the things that I've used. Also, like Hay House has a program. This was one I just happened to recently come across, which I can't pull it up, looks like. They have a actual app, and I know there's others that you can do as well. So if you want to use an app, but again, you can use Photoshop, you can use Canva, you can use PowerPoint, whatever it is. You can use your albums on your phone, to make different albums even, and put pictures in there. And remember, they don't always have to be the same picture. You can change them. Once you achieve one of your goals, then obviously take it off of there or create a checklist, replace it with another picture. However that looks for you, do that. But the whole thing is about being able to have images that inspire you, that bring you excitement and joy, that make you want to work towards that goal. All right, so now we're going to get into the types of vision boards that there are. They all can look however you want them to look, as I said, but there's a type around it, meaning that there are, like for instance, a theme board. So if it's for a holiday, a vacation, a birthday, New Year's, something different that you want to call in for your life, a job change with your work, or maybe it's another area like your career, you can make that a theme. So everything would be related to that particular theme that you are wanting to visualize. So I feel like a lot of people nowadays, when they throw a party, they go to Pinterest and look for, to create, appetizers and cakes and decorations. And I mean, it has just gone beyond with some of these events that I've gone to, the imagination that people have, how they can create such an amazing space. Same thing, or if you're doing your wedding, or like I said, a birthday or something. The other type is, I know exactly what I want, and I'm going to put that on my vision board. Most of us think we do know what we want. We specifically want these things, and we're very clear about it, and we don't want it to separate it from anything else. It needs to be this or nothing else. But the thing is that that can change, because when we only lock into, I know exactly what I want, we don't allow the universe to support us in giving us something better. Again, I use universe loosely. It could be source, God, higher power. I want to put that in there just so you know, but I just use universe because to me, that's just energy. That's the whole energy of everything that exists. So that would be another one. So if you want to do that, but what we're going to talk about is we're going to be opening and allowing. So if you put, for instance, I'll just use my example. If I put health as my main focus, then I'm going to be opening and allowing for things to show up for me while I'm taking action to achieve a healthier body vessel. This is great because if you're not sure exactly what you want, then it opens up to possibilities. I used to always think, oh, I want to be a size 6 and weigh 140 pounds. And years ago, I actually got to a size 4 and weighed 135 pounds. Well, how did that happen? So I was locked in on a number and a weight and a size when the universe said, nope, this works better for you. So that's where the example of allowing is you might get that or something better. Also, opening and allowing, if you've been in a period of depression or grief, we are all experiencing that right now, right? We don't know from one day to the next what's going on or what's going to take place. We're just sending hope and love and light and just trying to do the best that we can for ourselves. So again, I'm opening and allowing what's beyond these current situations and circumstances. And then if you have a vision of what you want, but you're not really certain of how that might come. For example, I had a Cadillac on my vision board years ago. It was the car. There was a commercial. It was a burgundy Cadillac. This woman was in high heels. She got in the car and said, when you turn your car on, does it return the favor? And I'm like, oh my God, I love this car. I love all the emotions, everything. That's what I want. That's on my vision board. Well, about a year and a half later, I was in an area that there was all these Cadillac Escalades. And I thought, that's a kind of a nice car. I like those Escalades. I don't know. Maybe I want that instead. And so I had told a couple that I was at an event with and said, hey, if I win the lottery, I'm going to buy one of those Cadillac Escalades. They're really a sharp car. Now, again, I have the vision board that has the burgundy Cadillac car on there. So the next week, it was a volleyball weekly thing that we went to. I said, well, I didn't win the lottery, so I didn't get to buy the Escalade. Well, the lady next to me said, what did you just say? And I said, oh, I'm looking for a Cadillac Escalade. She goes, oh, my in-laws have one for sale. I'm like, really? Well, if it's pearl white, I'd be interested. She goes, yeah, it's pearl white. So I share that with you because it was within less than 2 weeks that I bought that car, and I still own it today, and I love it. I love it more than any car probably would have ever given me that fulfillment. And it worked out beautifully because owning and operating the golf courses and going golfing with golf clubs and piling people in and going and getting supplies, it worked out beautifully, better than I had intended, right? So those are the things that can happen quickly or over time. I wasn't upset that I didn't have the car a year and a half later, but thank goodness I wasn't, or I would have missed out on this opportunity. So that's when you set that vision to what you're not certain about, but you at least have what I call a placeholder in mind of something or that better. You know that you won't change, but you don't know how it's possible. You know that you want change, but you don't know how it's possible. So that could be the other piece of this opening and allowing. Maybe for me, if I say it's about my health, I don't really know what I'm going to do different that I've not done before because I've done everything. I've been the roller coaster girl on the weight loss and the weight gain and the losing it. I've done that since I was in high school probably. So I'm curious now, how can I be open to allowing what I don't know is even possible? And so that would be my thing is, I know I want longevity and vitality, right? I want to live another 50, 60 years. I want to be feeling like this when I am older, you know, those kind of things. So maybe that's what I put into the vision board is, you know, a good posture and energy and, you know, healthy organs, things like that, because then from there, the universe can say, hey, Melissa, let's do this. I think this would serve you. And maybe it's something I never even thought about. Maybe I'm going to get a gym membership or a YMCA membership and start swimming. That was what I loved to do when I was a kid. See, that just popped in my mind. So maybe the universe is already working saying you need to go to the YMCA and swim or get your own pool. I think I'd rather have my own pool. But so again, that's what opening and allowing for the vision board. Hope everybody's still with me. When we talk about connecting to our truth, just like I was saying about the health and wellness, and maybe it is swimming, and maybe it has nothing to do about the pounds or the pant size, you may think that you want these things, a Porsche, a watch, a hotter partner, or even yourself. But maybe the deeper, wiser you is looking for things such as more sleep, or going and taking a drawing class that you've always wanted to do, or less stuff for you to do on the weekends that you can delegate and let other people do for you. I mean, it can really be that simple. It doesn't have to be this big, audacious, hairy transformation. It can just be so simple. My intention for my vision board is to get more sleep, get more rest, because more sleep means I'm able to rejuvenate and revitalize my body so my body can have longevity and vitality, right? It all starts working together. When we look at vision boards, okay, this is probably one of the things that you may or may not have done. Creating that vision board statement. So you've kind of heard me talking about my health and wellness, what I've done before in the past, what I could create moving forward. It could be about a size or a weight by pounds. It could be the longevity and vitality. It could be the swimsuit on the beach. It could be anything that doesn't really, could be eating certain foods, those kind of things. It can have all of that to it. But when you can create a statement that offers these steps, first of all, what is it that you want next? Think about the statement. How would it offer you a glimpse into what's next? So for instance, I'm just using the health coach as an example. So I want to become a health and wellness coach. Let's start there. Well, why? So the first thing is, what's next? Why do you want to become a health and wellness coach? Oh, okay. To educate others on taking care of their nutritional and physical needs. That's part of the statement, right? That's what I would do as a health coach. Then when I think about teaching others about their nutritional and physical needs, and what are my top 3 emotions that come up? So now we're connecting emotions to it. And when I ask that question, I say, oh, I feel happy, excited, and confident. So see how this is starting to build my statement around what's next? I'm going to be a health coach. Why do I want to do this? Educate and support others. And how do I feel about that? I'm happy, excited, and confident. And then it creates more of a statement of what I just said. As a health and wellness coach who is happy, excited, confident to support others and learning to take care of their nutritional and physical needs, what do I receive in return? Because it's a give and take, right? I'm going to be in service. So what do I get in return? I get to improve my personal health and lifestyle and generate an income. Beautiful, right? There's the statement that I know why I would create this vision board, because I don't know what's next. So I'm opening and allowing what might be available for me. And that would be this scenario. So the statement comes like this. As a health and wellness coach, I am happy, excited, and confident to support others in learning to take care of their nutritional and physical needs while improving my personal health and lifestyle and generating an income. And it's okay to generate income. It's all right to make money. So that is where, when you can create that. So remember when I asked you to pick up a topic that you want to focus on. Now we move into what are the things you want to change, improve, or get, be, do, or have. Then start creating this, this statement around your vision board. The what do I want to be? Why do I want to do that? What's my emotions? And what do I receive in return? If anybody's read The Science of Getting Rich, it's similar to that format that teaches you how to put these things in motion. You could even put a timeline. By the end of this year, I would like to be a health and wellness coach, or I would like to be healthy and more, have more vitality if I'm doing weight loss. If I'm financially looking for something, you can fill that in. So jot that down. And then here's the board. So in the middle, I just say, I am a health and wellness coach. I'm claiming it, right? Now, I could put in small print or something better, because I don't know, there might be something else. And then I've just gone out and captured some images that allow me to feel what that looks like. I'm on the beach working, I'm in person with people, I have money being exchanged, you know, I have my own words over here, the wellness financial, and then that's me in the middle at the bottom. That's me in Machu Picchu. And so I'm on top of the world, right? Like, who knew that that was going to be a part of me receiving in 2017? But I was in Peru for 9 days on my own spiritual journey, and this picture just kind of captures and says a lot for who I am, where I am, and what I'm doing. But I thought it was perfect for this example to just really show how things can happen without you even setting the intention. It's just out of the blue, thank you, universe, for opportunities that just continue to build me up, to continue allowing me to believe life is good and I can create whatever it is I truly desire. So that would be one example of really being specific on a topic and being allowing an opening to receive. So we're going to bring it into our reality. And again, Thursday next week, we have the activating the magic in it. But I just wanted to share a little bit because I want you to realize that in order for something to come into your reality, you have to focus on that, the be, do, and the have. The vision board is the piece when you walk by it every day and every night or sometime in between, or you look at it on your phone, you make that intention to open it up to really get in line with focusing on what is it that I desire? What is it that I'm intending? What am I going to bring in? And that's where you look at it. So even though I looked at the Cadillac car all those years, the Escalade was a vision, an actual one around town. There were several of them that locked in my unconscious mind somewhere that aligned the magic to say she's ready for it, right? Like, okay, I will take that. But I did have that on my vision board in some context. Car versus SUV. Then watching your emotions when you think about those things. So if I say, oh, I'm going to get so fit and trim by next month, right? I'm going to do the impossible. I'm going to lose like 60 pounds because, you know, I can do that in 30 days, although it took me a year and a half or whatever. The emotions behind that is not allowing yourself to fall into those old beliefs, those old limiting beliefs that told you it'll never work. Who do you think you are? Really? When's that weight going to come back? How long do you think you can keep it off, right? We got these stories, and sometimes our family and friends help us with it too. Well, yeah, you did it before, but I don't know. You think you can do it this time? Like, so that energy, we don't want that emotion. We want something that raises our vibration and our energy level, and that can come through those images as well as other things that I'll teach you in the other class on supporting that higher vibrational energy and stepping out of those negative conversations. And then the third part is believe in infinite possibilities and your dreams. They are within reach. I didn't know about infinite possibilities till about 4 years ago. And when I started, it might have been 5 or 6 now that I think about it, but when I started using that in my conversation, recognizing there's infinite possibilities out there. And like I was saying earlier, it's not that you think about something and it's solid to that. There's like the making up stories in your head when you're like, oh my gosh, this is going to happen and this could happen or that could happen or maybe that'll happen and maybe I should do this or that. And you have all these thoughts, 70,000 I think we have a day, and like a handful of them become true. So the infinite possibilities is I'm not even thinking outside of my comfort zone. I'm not thinking outside the box because there's more. And I'm just going to wait and let the cosmic kitchen help me discover what that might be. So when I place my order, they're either going to bring me that or something better because there's infinite possibilities that I am not even aware of. And then fourth, you're going to visualize that you are in that experience daily. And that's what that vision board will do as the fuel. So if I go back to that previous picture and I say, I am a health coach, and I see that woman sitting in that chair at the ocean with her laptop in her lap. Oh my gosh, I can hear the waves. I can smell the salt water. I'm looking over to make sure the bartender's bringing my drink, right? Like I can just get engulfed in that whole experience. Or the ladies in the middle, I'm having this conversation and I'm speaking to her and I know I'm going to change her life. And she's super excited that I didn't hold back and that I, am in service of helping people get well. Just whatever that story is, that's what you create. And then when you go to that the next day or that later that day, that's the emotion, that's the energy that you bring to your vision board. So when you create it, you start with your statement. You really get clear on what it is that you're creating the board for. And when we talked about the chart early on that had the 9 categories, we said you could do that as one vision board. You could have one picture, with that word, and that could be complete. That may be all you need as a starter board. But if we look at, if we need a theme board because we have a birthday or an anniversary or some sort of celebration, then we can create the theme board. Again, it starts with a statement of why you're doing that, what it's going to look like, what's in it for you. And then if you want to just create possibilities, then you just put some things on there that excite you and interest you and that you're not certain. Maybe you do want to take a drawing class. Maybe you do want to sleep later. Maybe you know, there are things that you don't know that you just get to open your mind up. And we'll talk about that again too. And when we talk about igniting the magic, because that's the place too. We get so wishy-washy that then we just give up on our hopes and dreams and say, forget it. So that piece is the statement, then the emotional connection, which I've demonstrated in several examples throughout this conversation. And then you collect those pictures and images, however that looks, if you want to cut them out, if you want to do Pinterest, if you want to get magazines, however. But I would encourage you, if you do print them out, get some quality printer paper, not photo paper, get regular high quality paper, or have like Staples or someone create them for you, because that way they just have a classy look to it, and then you can spread words around. They do suggest that you don't put like you wouldn't really put your statement there, but you could put your statement on the back of it, or you could have it as your affirmation. That could be your statement. On your board, you want words that are quick. So I am a health coach. That's quick. Or I do all things in gratitude, or, you know, like that one that had all the words, certain words stood out. So just use less words because you want the more feeling of the pictures, but you can even create sections on your board if you want it to. Does that make sense? Everybody still with me? So next week, as I mentioned, this is where the activating the magic in the board. So that was at the same registration from before, but it is the Cincy Live events next step. I want to be sure to say that before I forget. But also, you're going to get a follow-up email that will have the replay to this video, the link to this, a copy of my free ebook on 5 steps to your own drive. And then also, I am giving you the opportunity to have a 20-minute conversation with me in supporting you around creating your vision board. So you can either do that before next week, or we will have it also available after that vision board as well, because I think that might tie it all together. But I do know some people get really stuck and they're anxious to create their boards. So I do want to offer that as well. And that link to my calendar will be in that email as well. So you'll want to look out for that email. That's not coming from Cincy Live that had all the registrations. It will actually come from my personal Gmail account or my Find Your Own Drive account. So look for that in the next couple of days. Should have it by tomorrow, but that'll be in there as well. And then, well, let me back up a minute. Oh, I must have taken those out of there. Okay, I had a slide in here with other vision boards, but I think we're good as far as what they look like. It's just up to you now to really engage in that. The other thing that's coming up beyond these vision boards, and I just, again, a little plug for this, is Progress Toward a Purpose. And this is a 2-week mini mastermind series. There is an investment involved in this, but there is an early bird discount that's going to start tomorrow morning or now. But this is a way that you can start learning how to, it meets every day. There's recordings, but it's about like limiting beliefs and offsetting the negative and just really tapping into you as an individual and how you can live your life on purpose, moving towards those bigger things that you want in your life. So the details are at my website, findyourownDrive.com. There's a link that says, actually it's not on the front page yet, but if you put mini-mm, MINI-MM after findyourownDrive.com, you'll get the sales page on there and everything about that. So if you're interested in that, take advantage of that early bird special, because there is a significant discount and there will be some free offerings beyond that as well. So as I mentioned, you will have the follow-up replay of the video, the ebook, the 20-minute call, downloadable links. I do have a couple of affiliates I've reached out to see how they can support us with any of their free material. The Next Step Vision Board link will be in there, and the link to the mini mastermind. You can follow, I have the website, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn. So that's where you can find me. All those handles are Find Your Own Drive. LinkedIn is actually my name, Melissa Kirkpatrick. But if you want to start following in there, I do motivational videos in one of my groups. I'm always posting every day, good, solid content around things that will drive you, motivate you, inspire you, help you find your drive, right? Like that's where it is. And DRIVE is an acronym for desire, receive, implement, visualize, and evolve. So I've been teaching this for a long time, not on the golf course is where it started, and then we've moved into life and business. So there's many opportunities, and visit my website. There's some other program offerings that I have there that are free as well. So with that said, let's open it up for questions. Let me get a drink here. If you have a question, let's see, did anybody, let me check the chat box first to see. Checking. Oh, your beautiful faces. Do you end up with multiple boards, one for the large vision and others goals such as the art class? Okay, good question. So really it's up to you. I want you to be able to feel comfortable in your first vision board that you create. So if it's a vision board that is of one topic, like the one I did with the I Am a Health Coach, or it's the vision board with the 9 squares of the areas of your life and you have an image in each of them, or you're brave and really want to go bold and you just do the whole big board and just throw it all on there, right? That's up to you, because the creativeness comes from you and what internally you feel will drive you. My understanding when I first started working with vision boards, or I guess my lack of understanding, was if everything's on there, how can I really engage in the magic of creating that for myself? So what I find is you move quicker when it's a smaller board because you see specifically every day. The Cadillac would be an example of that. Or when we were going to buy the second golf course, I just had a picture of the clubhouse on my refrigerator, and I looked at that clubhouse every day, and I envisioned myself walking through that door every day. And we had it in less than a month and a half. So those are the things that was all, that one picture, because that was my focus. I want to get that taken care of. Although I had all these other things over here, that was the focus. So that's what I'm offering you. Do it however you feel your soul wants you to do that. But I think it helps you to start. So if you have multiple ones, there's nothing wrong with that, right? Let's be rule breakers. Let's say, there really are no rules. We get to create and design however we intend to. And other people can do it their way. You get to pick. That's what's so cool about it. How do you celebrate milestones in the event you have any setbacks? Right? Yeah. So celebrating a milestone in that you have any setbacks, in the event you have setbacks, right? You have the setbacks, I assume you're saying. So everything is in gratitude for me. And that is one of the things that I feel like we forget. It's so easy to go to the negative and to feel pity party and feel bad and life just doesn't go as planned. And, but maybe you are an optimistic person and everything was going as planned, but then all of a sudden the rug's taken out from under you. Hello, 2020. Like we've all had that experience, right? So to me, in those moments is when the setback has more information to share with you. The universe wants you to recognize that this is great, good, well done, but let's pause and let's step back away from this for a minute, because there might be another key piece of information you need that you're going to use later on. Brings me a good example. When I started teaching in my 30s, my husband had coached our sons in baseball. And I'm like, I think coaching would be the coolest thing, but I didn't play sports. I don't know what I would coach on. Like when I was in high school, I drank and partied. Like, can I coach on that? I don't know. So I just, in my mind, thought that would just be cool, right? To be a coach. Well, out of the blue, the varsity volleyball coach says, I would like for you to coach freshman volleyball. And I'm like, I don't know how to play volleyball. I never played. She said, you know what, but you're a smart person and you figure things out. And I really think that you could do this. Now, this was before the golf course. And I was like, okay, I'm all in. And so for 3 years, I coached freshman volleyball for 2 and junior high for 1. That was not what I thought coaching was. It was just the word coach would be on my resume. Then look what happened. Fast forward. Oh, now Melissa is a golf coach. Okay, I had to teach myself first. And then I had to develop a curriculum. Oh, so my education as a high school teacher developing curriculum, working with different mindsets and people and engaging with everybody. Like it just, right? Can you see how it just mapped itself out? And then now what do? Oh, I coach women and men in business and life. Ta-da! Like there it is. All of that allowed me to have these experiences. So when you have those setbacks, it's really saying, wow, thank you. What do I need to know? What is this serving me? How is this serving me? And what do I need to know moving forward? So I hope that answers your question. If it doesn't, add more to that comment. What keeps your mind on your vision board? Do you find it better to keep it displayed to where you see it all the time, or do you review it daily? And do you give yourself deadlines at all? Good question. That's really good. So yes, you can display it. Ideally, you would look at it twice a day, first thing in the morning and before you go to bed, because that's when your mind is free. Well, not necessarily before you go to bed, but it's a good way to offset everything throughout the day, because now you're locking into that energetic emotion and you say, and if I need to dream about any of this stuff, let me dream about it. And then in the morning, you can look at it. The thing about the deadlines, yes, you can create a deadline for yourself. I don't like the deadline. I like the finish line. And then the finish line means there's another piece of it. So there's always that journey concept between it. When we allow ourselves permission to say divine timing, everything happens in divine timing, then I eliminate anything that says it has to be tomorrow, has to be next month, has to be next year. I trust and believe that the universe will show up for me in divine timing, and things that I desire will come to me in that moment of time that I need it. The Peru trip was offered 2 years before. I didn't go. The year it was offered, it was just prior to my sister passing and in between her husband passing within a 7-month period. How did that work? I couldn't have planned it. But when my sister was ill and was going downhill, the email came through again. We've got one more spot to go to Peru for a spiritual journey. And I'm like, that's for me. And then when I went and then came back, then my brother-in-law, he passed. So I'm just saying that this is the magic. Like, this is what can happen. Like, I could not have planned that. Obviously, I was going through some hard times. It was an emotional time, but that was the best medicine for me to be able to have that experience. And thank goodness it was offered 2 years prior, because it wouldn't have been, I don't think I would have seen it 2 years later, right? Like when it was first offered, I'm like, oh, that's really cool. I'd love to go there. Oh, da 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 da. But when it came to me the second time, it was like, oh, I need this. This will be very good for me. This is what, so that's the thing too. That kind of goes with those excitement about getting something, but sometimes it's delayed, and that's okay if things get delayed. Just like a couple I worked with one time, they had their vision of their home. It was just their home, everything they wanted for it. It was never coming about. They couldn't find it, this, that, and the other. And like 2 years later, they messaged me and said, we found our home. It hadn't been built yet. Yeah, the ideal home. The subdivision didn't even exist 2 years prior. The location was perfect. They didn't even know that was the location, right? So those are the kind of things that can happen if you're willing to show up, take action, stay engaged, and be open to receive. Yeah, good questions. Anybody else have a question? If you want to raise your hand or unmute yourself, you can do that too. What do you think, ladies and gentlemen? Good, good, thumbs up. You get some good information? Welcome, you're welcome. Somebody have a question? I hear an unmute.
I do.
Yes, Mia.
This is my first time to do this. So I typed in a question as well. For like when you make your own vision board, are you allowed to write like what happened into the news about what happened with like the incident with George Floyd? Does that count?
So my personal preference about that is you can journal about the feelings and the emotions that you're having. Just journal those, and on your vision board you can put the word peace and things like that you want to see more of. So absolutely, you could have a board that would give you that energy to feel a positive outcome for what's showing up. Does that help you? Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Great. Good question. Good question.
Thanks.
Yeah. Anyone else? Let's see, let me check the comments here. Let's see. Okay, here's one. I like the ideal theme photo albums on your phone. I was doing that and didn't even realize it, right? It's much better stuff to be looking at on my phone at night before bed compared to the news and social media. Amen to that. How do I keep this inspiring imagery in the foreground of my thoughts throughout the day and when I'm experiencing conflict, doubt, and or difficult emotions? Good question. So I love that you're using the albums. It was interesting when I went back to collect all those pictures to show where I had been in front of people and been speaking and stuff. I'm like, holy cow, I just put in 2019 and then just going through those. So yeah, using albums are really great. So Richard, it might be a matter of creating another folder in your phone that either has words, or you could do video messaging, words, or an actual video of yourself that would say, hey dude, here you are, you're feeling like you usually feel. This is when you usually jump ship. So get back in the game. And this is what you told me to say to you anytime I felt that I was having difficult emotions or conflict or doubt. Does that make sense? To be able to, yeah, good. To be able to really bring yourself back to center. And, you know, journaling is a good thing to do, but I would rather do video journal or voice journal. On your phone, you have like a voice memo. Sometimes you can, you know, use that because that realigns you, because you're the best person to get you out of your funk, to get you out of that state of not certain and confusion. But another album folder might serve as well too. So give that a thought as well. Okay, let me get back up here because I think, sure I didn't miss anybody else. Okay, talked about that. Talked about that one. Can you talk more about tying the emotions to it and the visions, tips for calling it into existence? That will be Thursday next week. I know I hate to keep you hanging like that, but basically the emotions and releasing any doubt is step number one. If I want to create $10, $1,000, $100,000, or $1 million, it doesn't matter what that number is, I can create money, bottom line. Now, how do I get to that? How do I get to, I've got to start with the $10 before I ever get to the $1,000, before I get to the 100,000, before I make the million. We oftentimes think, I'm going to wake up tomorrow and make $1 million. Well, if I hit the lottery, possible, or someone that I didn't know and leaves it to me, but I'm not going to make that 100 or that million until I start here. And that's the flow. That's the ease and flow of creating your life by design, because it's not, I'm going to jump off and it's going to be there. I get that. You can jump off and grow your wings on the way down, as they say, but I have to believe that $10 was easy. That $1,000 was easy. Then the 10,000, okay. And if you think about the money you've made over your lifetime, like all the money your parents gave you from the time you were born till the time you were no longer on their payroll, think about the payroll that you've had over the years as you've taken on jobs, right? All that's money. You are worth millions. You have millions of dollars that have been invested in you, or at least hundreds of thousands of dollars, right? Like that's what you embrace first, is believing that to be true. It's we forget. We look at right now in this moment and what people believe. That's those limiting beliefs and those stories that we've held on to. So if I know if I learn how to make $1,000, then if I multiply that process 10 more times, then I can make $10,000, right? It's that kind of thinking that helps you to do that. And the calling it into existence is what Mike Dooley says, is don't worry about those cursed hows. Let the universe, and I say the cosmic kitchen, figure it out for you, because sometimes it has a faster, quicker way than we would have ever known. Because as humans, we like to get in our own damn way and really cause problems if we start doubting that we can even do what we think we can do. Deciding to be a teacher at the age of 30, that was a scary step, but I knew my heart of heart, my soul of soul, and my friend said, well, you can be 34 with a teaching degree, or you can just be 34. What do you want? And I'm like, well, yeah. And then I'm like, oh, but how do I do this? I'm going to work full time and I'm going to this and I'm going to, you know, so it was like I had to manage all of that. And it worked out beautifully. I couldn't have orchestrated it any better. My children had an opportunity to spend time with their grandmother in the mornings before school. Yay, that was a win. I kind of felt bad at first because I'm leaving my kids and expecting them to get ready for school and all that. But the relationship and the bonding that they did with her and still have today, oh, priceless. So those are the kind of things when we feel like we're not able to call things into existence, it's that checking ourselves back to what am I doing that's getting in the way to that. So I hope that helps you with that question as far as tips for calling into the existence. What is the emotional side of it is really connecting to the outcome, what it's going to feel like, those emotions. Okay, let's see what else we got here. Well, the thoughts becomes things, look around statement. Okay, so my office is a teetotal mess. This part looks great, right? This other part is a teetotal mess. It's the room that catches everything else that doesn't have a place to go. I really hate it, but I also deal with it. I also know I can clean it up in less than an hour and have everything out of here and it looks great. So the thoughts becomes things. If I choose to be upset and discouraged and frustrated with the clutter in here, guess what's going to happen? More clutter is going to show up in here. Proven it time and time again. If I think about the room being clean and want to actively participate in straightening the room up, then my thoughts are, I'm going to go in there and get that cleaned up. So the thoughts becoming things are how we program our mind to receive things. If I think that that food's going to make me fat, the food's going to make me fat because I've already claimed it. If I think I can drink 2 drinks and I'm going to be drunk, then I'm going to be drunk. Like, it's just that. If I think that I have a stomach ache, I can talk myself into a stomach ache. Other people can talk you into that too. There was a story Joel Osteen shared one time about they had this guy come into work and the first person said, wow, dude, you don't look very good today. You feel all right? And he's like, yeah, I feel fine. So then they had the next person say, oh man, Joe, are you okay? Because you sure don't look like you feel well. And he's like, well, no, I feel well. The other guy said that too. By the time he got to the third or fourth person, he was going home sick because he was convinced that he did not feel well because they convinced him, oh, you're pale, you're peaked. Are you sure you don't feel well? And so that is how powerful our thoughts can be. We really can make those thoughts become our reality and to become things. So when we can reverse it in knowing that I'm going to have this or something better, then those thoughts can become the things that you truly desire. If that doesn't answer your question, go ahead and put another comment in there. Hopefully that helped you. This is great. Everybody's participating. I love this. Let's see, I think I missed one. Good stuff. I like that comment. Just to add on. Getting into the habit of journaling every day helps to release negative thoughts and emotions. Then you have the freedom to create and manifest what you want. Yes, 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 yes. And that's part of what we'll do in the other class too, is the mind dump. How do you mind dump out those things that don't serve you so that you can bring in those things that do serve you? Okay, where are we at on time? So, we're making really good time. Any other questions or comments? I want to make sure. It's really kind of hard when you're running your own screen because you're like, did I miss it? Oh, here we go. Can you talk more about, nope, that was the same question we have. What are some success stories of other clients? Okay, good question. Let me make sure. Can you talk around statement? And that was good. Oh, that was okay. What are some of the stories of your other clients? Okay, so I have a really good one. I'd met this gal years and years ago, probably when I was still in the golf course business, but I was doing some networking. I met her. She didn't need any help. She's like, life is good. My business is great. She was running a brick and mortar company, business, cafe. Everything was good. Awesome. Nice to meet you. Have a nice day. About a year and a half later, she reaches out. She said, hey, I see that you sold your golf courses and you're doing your own thing now. I would really like your help. Okay. So her plans was to get rid of the brick and mortar and move into doing her own thing. So she had a cafe. So obviously she wanted to be a personal chef. We worked together for about 6 months before she really got traction We had to clean up some thoughts and beliefs. We had to get through what was going on in her life at that moment. We had to understand the business itself, right? The brick and mortar business. And then from there, when she fully engaged in the idea that she no longer needed that brick and mortar to validate who she was able to sell it and start doing her own thing. Then it was like rapid fire. We started manifesting and creating what would you like? What does it look like? And she had opportunity after opportunity, and she kept showing up and showing up and showing up. And then she has landed the best experience she could have asked for, doing all the things that she loves to do, and doesn't have to feel like it's a burden or it's too much to handle. So that was one of my clients' stories that we were able to visualize, talk about as if it already is, and to start finding ways to get engaged in areas that would allow her to explore what it was she truly wanted, because she had an idea, but again, something better, and the something better has won over time and time again. So that would be one of the success stories of one of my clients, and we're still connected today. And she actually just messaged them not too long ago and said, I'm ready to re-up. I see more good things coming my way. So we'll just see how that plays out. Does that answer your question? Let's see. Trying to think if there's another one that would be a good one to tell. Yeah, I do have another one. So I had done a workshop, and it was around multi-level marketing, direct sales, people that wanted to drive their sales in their business. And so one of the gals in that program, she was a Beachbody coach, and she believed in the products and used them, and that was her thing. She was a health coach for Beachbody, but she knew she wanted something more. And so she created, through our work together, of a vision of what does it look like. She wanted to really help people at the cellular level to really know what's going on. And I think the certification's like FDNA or something like that. So she's like, well, I'm going to set my intention to get that certification, and then I'm going to this and that. And then it was like, okay, now we need to develop a website, and then we need to figure out your pricing, and we need to figure out. So she's transitioned out of that business, doing her own thing. She does all these more holistic approaches. She's battled her own cancer recently. She's written a book. She just built a home. Like, boom, like all of this just came from working with me and helping her align her thoughts, her visions, and her desires, and then creating those steps, and then being able to full blown into transitioning out of what she was doing, knowing there was something more that she wanted to create for herself. Okay. Let's see here. Any other questions? And if I missed one, let me know. Okay, I think it looks like I've got most everyone's questions. Maybe not. Sure. Or if you want to unmute yourself, you can do that too if I'm not seeing your question in the comments. I hope everybody's excited to activate this and get busy creating some stuff. And like I said, if you Google and you look at some images that start inspiring you, that might lead to another image. I mean, Google can take you down a rabbit hole. You click that image button and you've got all kinds, or in Pinterest, like I said, that's got all kinds of stuff too. But if nothing else, look for something that offers you the mood, like offers, like what's your favorite colors and color schemes, and just, even starting there can give you like an openness to see what's next, or what you might like to bring in. Well, thank you. I like these glasses. These are my old readers, and they're not as good as my other glasses, but my other glasses are so heavy on my face. Like, these are super light. So I kind of like those too. So I need to go get a prescription with these in it, I think. Yeah, well, as always, my goal is to inspire, uplift, motivate, help you live your best life, live your life on purpose. I always talk about sending love and light, because from that place, all things are possible. And, you know, if you, like I said, you can look at my social media channels to find out more about me and my offerings, or the YouTube videos that I upload regularly that are like less than 2 minutes. So it's a quick little shot in the arm to give you some inspiration and motivation. I work with groups, I work with teams, I work with companies, I work one-on-one. Like it's just my ability to support others is really becoming something that, again, I put the vision out there, but I didn't realize it could scale so quickly, so fast. And just with being able to, again, that picture of the microphone in the audience, like it is more than I ever felt that was possible. But as time went on, I started feeling more and more in alignment to that. And so I am just grateful and blessed that I am able to offer my gifts and be in service. And so again, you'll get the email, you'll get the replay, you'll get the opportunity to get on the phone with me one-on-one, either after this one, or if you're going to do next week's, we can combine them together. You have great questions tonight. If something comes up later and you want to go and message me, I'm open to that. I'm not the kind of person that says one and done. I'm all about, once you've met me and I've met you, we're divinely connected. And for whatever reason, maybe we don't know, maybe it's for a moment in time, and maybe it's for years to come. But I truly believe my calling and passion and purpose is helping others along the way, because every decade I've been given the opportunity to recreate my life. And so that's where I feel that others get the support around being courageous and give yourself permission to make those big, bold changes in your life. So if there are no other questions, I'll go ahead and close our call for today. And again, I appreciate you taking your time and spending it with me. And I just send all this love and light to everyone that's here tonight. Thank you. Thank you.